FanDuel TV's Kentucky Derby week coverage is presented by Spendthrift Farm.
Welcome to day 2 of Breakfast at the Derby as we return to Churchill Downs. No hand in this year's Derby stronger than Brad Cox's. He's got 3, including your Bluegrass winner, Further Ado, out early this morning to get his final prep before the Kentucky Derby. And his stablemate, Commandment, worked in company as well. We'll see how the Florida Derby winner and the Bluegrass winner gets scored on Simon's Roses. And don't forget about Full Effort, the Jeff Ruby winner. 3 major prep winners from the Brad Cox barn will be out on the track later this morning. It's day 2 from Churchill Downs, Breakfast at the Derby. Good morning, everyone. We are a week away from the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby as FanDuel TV brings you back to the breakfast show. Mike Joyce on set, Simon Bray, Joe Talamo. 3 big names, all from the same barn, putting in their final works today.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Brad Cox's Commandment, Further Ado, and, of course, Full Effort as well. He's the interesting long shot for me, Joe.
Yeah, Full Effort is interesting. Won the Jeff Ruby Stakes, but I tell you what, his works on dirt that looks nothing like a pure turf or synthetic horse.
Yeah, they run the race on dirt. He's going to have to try that out for a change. Let's take a look. He's the Jeff Ruby winner. He's won on turf. He's won on synthetic. His first try on the dirt will be in the Kentucky Derby. Very interesting. He's also up there as the 5th highest point getter with 110 points as we take a look at the leaderboard. This is how they got in. Now, right now, 6 Speed is the last horse in. Litmus Test on the outside, as he'll be the first on the AE. Great White, Ocelli, and Robusta hanging on as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got a week out, so anything could happen. Litmus Test we saw worked out of the gate the other day in preparation should he jump into the body of the race here. But hopefully, you know, the field stays intact.
The renovation is happening right now. We had rain last night. It subsided in the early hours of the morning. The racetrack is in fine shape as things stand right now, but the weather will be the story. Always in the spring here in Kentucky, you have a chance of rain. Looks like we might get some midweek. Hopefully, all will be well by Oaks and Derby.
Yeah, I mean, I think the chance of rain has decreased quite a bit, actually. You see the percentages down there. Tuesday and Wednesday, best chance for some precipitation. Hopefully it stays dry on Oaks Day, because that rain was scheduled during the daytime hours, even though the race is late at night now, 8:30 post time for the Kentucky Oaks on Friday night.
I'd like to say the 3 of us could do the show on our own, but it's just simply not true. We talk enough, but we don't know enough, and that's why we have a team of reporters here scattered throughout the grounds at Churchill Downs, Caton Bradar, Andy Biancone. But we start with Joaquin Jaime, who's standing by at the Brad Cox barn.
Yeah, guys, just like yesterday, we start here at the Brad Cox barn because, as you have mentioned, Brad Cox has 3 horses in the Kentucky Derby this year, and 2 of the 3 have already put in their final works for the Kentucky Derby. Commandment and Further Ado, they were out on the track earlier this morning. They were on the track in the 5 a.m. hour. Spoke to Brad Cox earlier this morning. He said Commandment, who won the Florida Derby, he went 5 furlongs in company today. On Brad's watch, he said that he had him in 101 flat. After Commandment worked, it was Further Ado who won the Bluegrass Stakes. He worked by himself with Hall of Famer John Velasquez aboard, who will get aboard him for the first time in the Run for the Roses. Brad told me that he clocked Further Ado going 5 furlongs by himself in a minute flat. So that leaves Full Effort, who will be making his first start on the dirt in the Kentucky Derby. He is expected to work coming up after the renovation break right here at 7:15. So Caton Bradar, that is just one of the few Kentucky Derby workers that we can expect to see this morning here at Churchill Downs, and that is coming up in just about 15 minutes.
Joaquin, I have another Derby contender that will be out on the track with his final Kentucky Derby prep. That's here at Barn 6. Right to Party, right behind me, is getting prepared to go out in just a few minutes. He'll be working in company with a horse named Very Connected. Robbie Alvarado will be aboard for a 5-furlong breeze. But we are in Barn 6, stall 17. This is sacred ground, as Mystic Dan was in this very stall prior to his big victory. Kenny McPeek hoping lightning strikes twice, as Ready to Party comes in with a runner-up finish in the Wood Memorial, knocking on the door in some of the big prep races. But the preparation's not without a little snag, as yesterday, while he was out training, Kenny told me that Right to Party actually popped a tooth cap. You could see him throwing his head around a bit during his workout. It was actually just a gallop, but they have been attending to that, had the vet to kind of check him out as well, and are kind of working around that issue to get this final workout underway. We'll talk to Kenny more about that after we see the completion of the workout, but nothing necessarily without a few snags along the way. As Andy Biancone can well attest to, Andy, some changes of plans from some of the trainers this morning as to when those workouts are going to take place.
Kate, and yes, a couple of changes for sure. We're currently at the Steve Asmussen barn, and we will see Chip Honcho working in company with Taptastic, who was most recently third in the Arkansas Derby. They're just going to do a nice, easy 5/8, and Steve will then make the decision after speaking to his owners whether Chip Honcho will participate in the Kentucky Derby or if they will skip and go straight to the Preakness. So we'll find out more from Steve later. We also stopped by the Riley Mott barn, and Riley Mott has decided to push his works till tomorrow. So Incredible and Albus are supposed to work tomorrow instead of today. Riley just said the track was a little bit deeper than he would have liked. So, doing right by his horses, making that decision, calling an audible to postpone those works to tomorrow. But we will be seeing Chip Honcho out on the track.
All right, thank you very much. A lot of information right off the top of the show here on Breakfast at the Derby. So let's take a look here. We've got a number of horses that had to switch plans. We've got the 3 horses from the Brad Cox barn going today. As we take a look at the leaderboard, just to remind you how they got in, what does that tell you when trainers make little adjustments at this point?
It's not a big deal. I mean, I think a lot of trainers would, if we'd had more rain in the forecast, this track is good enough to work on. But when you know that, tomorrow's going to be perfect, just wait 24 hours.
Here's the full picture and just how hard it is to get in the Kentucky Derby. Total of 16,789 U.S. foals in 2023. 8,689 made it to the races. 3,178 have won. 344 have won a stakes victory. 71 have won a graded stakes. 32 with the U.S. or International Kentucky Derby prep victory. And 19 made the gate. And this includes 6 Speed and Dan and Bourbon, who qualified in the Overseas Series. When you see those numbers, you realize just how tough it is to make that first Saturday in May. Oh,
it really is. And everything has to go perfect according to plan, too. Even though if you think you have a Derby horse, I mean, they could get sick, they could get hurt, unfortunately. So everything has to go absolutely perfect.
0.001% chance.
Yeah.
I just did the math.
Oh, yeah, you've got a calculator. He did do the math. That wasn't all in his head. I didn't mean to out my brother-in-law here. We'll be talking to and about Brad Cox in just a little bit, as once again, he brings 3 horses to the table, and not only 3 horses sneaking in, these are 3 major prep winners, as he is looking for what would be technically his 2nd Kentucky Derby victory, although he didn't know he'd won with Mandaloon for about 8 months afterwards. He has 12 starters in the Derby over the years, but make that 15 after this year, and he was 3rd with Essential Quality in 2021, and Angel of Empire in 2023.
I think it's been quite some time since a trainer's come in with I mean, we've seen the Pletchers, the Baffetts come in with multiple horses, Lucas over the years. But usually you get one of the shorter price horses, and then there's a 20-to-1 shot in there. But this is 3 solid chances in here, right, Joe? I mean, without further ado, and the longest shot of the 3 is clearly full effort. But like I said on day 1 of this show, he's my Animal Kingdom this year.
I'm kind of right with you. I mean, his work back on April 17th and 59-1, that was very, very impressive, especially for a horse that's never made a start on dirt. He has 3 wins, and they're either on synthetic or turf.
Let's take a look at Further Ado. His work's going to be very important because I love this angle against him. People who don't like Further Ado feels like he ran too fast. Okay. His bluegrass was just ridiculous. It was a tour de force. And there are handicappers out there who say, look, he ran big at Keeneland before and bounced off of it. That was a huge effort in the bluegrass, even though he won by 8. Does he bounce after running a -2 on the Thorograph sheets? Well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't look like he's about to bounce here, as he's making a great appearance on the track. It was about 5:15 this morning.
Yeah, this is a work under John Velasquez. They went early, the first one out this morning, because Johnny V, at the conclusion of this work, jumped in a car, went to the airport, got on a plane back to New York to ride at Aqueduct today. But I listened to an in-house interview here before he exited the property, and he was very, very high. He said, Joe, you and I listened to this. He said this is the most nervous he has ever been working a horse, because he thought that, he knows this is the type of horse that probably could do too much if you let him.
Yeah, absolutely, which is crazy for a Hall of Famer like Johnny V to say that.
By the way, look at the ears. Give me the ear analysis here.
Around the turn was good. He does have him pinned back a little bit right here.
As that was Further Ado earlier today. And about a half an hour after this, there was an incident on the racetrack that caused a little bit of a delay. Commandment would come out and work. And we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. But Gallop Out looks strong. This is a horse who, he looks like he could do a whole heck of a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of runs like he practices. I mean, he's an up-tempo horse. I mean, you throw him in company, I'll go around there in 58 and change, probably.
All right, let's go to your Animal Kingdom as Joaquin Jaime is standing by with full effort.
Yeah, guys, he just left the Brad Cox barn right now. He's standing right here at the gap, just waiting for the tractors to clear and get ready to step on the racetrack. So he wintered at Turfway Park this year. His last 3 races have been on the synthetic surface. He won the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes in his most recent start. But let's look at his pedigree and dive into the pedigree and how, at least from that standpoint, this gray son of Liam's Map should handle the dirt. Well, starting with the sire, Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner, who's a son of Unbridled Song, Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, out of an Awesome Again mare, Breeders' Cup Classic winner. And when you look at the dam, she was a stakes winner on the dirt. And as a brood mare, the dam, Call Me the Squeeze, she produced a horse by the name of Power Squeeze, who was a multiple graded stakes winner on the dirt, including the Grade 1 Alabama Stakes at 1.25 miles. So just from a pedigree standpoint, you would think that Full Effort should be able to handle the dirt just fine. Since the Jeff Ruby Stakes, guys, he's had 3 works here at Churchill Downs, April 3rd, April 10th, April 17th. Really picked it up on April 17th in his most recent drill in 59-1. Tyler Gaffalione is going to be hopping aboard for the first time in the Kentucky Derby. Now, Mike, as far as the plan today for Full Effort, he's going to do pretty much exactly what the other 2 Brad Cox horses have done, and that is work 5 furlongs. He's going to work by himself, though. The plan is for Full Effort to work 5 furlongs here with Edvin Vargas, who's been with the Brad Cox team for many, many years. 5 furlong solo for Full Effort in his final drill for the Kentucky Derby coming up here in just a moment.
You know what my favorite part about all that pedigree information that Joaquin just gave you?
What's that?
He probably knew that off the top of his head.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you go back a couple generations, you had to look it up, but he probably knew the rest of it just right off the top of his head. But he makes a great point. I'd be skeptical of Full Effort because of his race record. It's been turf and synthetic. This would be his first try in the dirt. It's going to be everybody's first try at 1.25 miles, but you add that first try in the dirt thing, it makes me a little nervous, but that pedigree suggests he's probably even better on the dirt than he would be on the turf.
Yeah, exactly. He might not have shown his best yet. Sometimes I like, though, the horses that make the surface transition, especially from turf synthetic to dirt. That way around, I think it can play out. To Mike's point, though, trying it in the Derby with 20 horses and all that kickback, that's where the issue could come into play. He's worked a lot on the dirt throughout his career. In fact, if you look at his training schedule, the whole month of April, he's consistently worked on the dirt. 1/2 mile, 48. He worked 59-1 here at Churchill last Friday. So he can handle the surface. The big concern with me would be the kickback.
I totally agree because I've had that in years past where turf horse would work really, really good on dirt, but then you run them in a race when that kickback gets in their face. I mean, they want to drop back 5, 6, 7 lengths. They're just so uncomfortable.
So is there, on the Tapeta surface at Turfway, is there no kickback, or is it a different sort of kickback?
There's kickback, but it doesn't feel like hardly anything. I mean, if you can imagine grinding up carpet and particles and coming back at you, it's really not significant, whereas dirt, as you very well know from the Equicizer last year, it's not that good.
No.
Yeah, when I was throwing the dirt at Simon's face, it really affected him. The horse was fine, though.
Yeah. And you're almost better being closer to the horse in front of you, right? Because the dirt then kicks the chest rather than hits the face.
Yeah. It's a great shot of full effort. He's not doing too much right now.
I love his demeanor, too.
Yeah, it's just kind of chill. Just taking it all in there right by the Backside Learning Center. So we'll have full effort on the track. They are still renovating. They've just right now passed the 3/16 pole. Let's take a look at his Jeff Ruby's performance, because this is what got him into the Derby. It earned him that 100 points with the victory up at Turfway Park, the Jeff Ruby Stakes. As we take a look, stretch drive here, there's full effort on the outside.
Yeah, and prior to this race, he did go through the Derby Series up at Turfway Park. He was second in the Leonidas, second in the John Battaglia, and right here with Irad Ortiz aboard for the first time in quite some time. It's going to draw away very impressively by 2.5 lengths, and this is going a mile and an eighth, and you could see, I mean, with him pulling away there, I don't think a mile and a quarter is going to be a problem at all. But the question mark, this was synthetic. How is he going to handle dirt?
Well, how does he handle the kickback? But he's loaded with talent. There's no question about it. It's just whether or not he can transfer that talent on Derby Day. He's going to be a large price, because there's a lot of horses before him that it's going to catch the attention of the wagering public.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I will say that 59-1 on April 17th, that's pretty good here at Churchill, especially the way he did it.
That's motoring, huh?
Yeah.
It's 59. That's like clicking off 13-second.
Less.
Yeah. Oh, less. Yeah. 12 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
12 seconds.
12 seconds. Yeah, 12 seconds.
And, you know, with his run, that like we said, back to the kickback, that's, I mean, what we've seen thus far in his races, he's going to be sitting behind horses for sure. So I don't know whether the design is to, you know, get a good work into him. So maybe he'll show a little more speed.
So there's a look at full effort. How about Potente? As Potente second in the Santa Anita Derby. There's Umberto, the exercise rider for Bob Baffert in the irons there.
It's Bob Baffert, left of your screen, bottom left.
He's standing by with Tom Ryan. Sorry, Bob, I recognized. But Bob's wearing a baseball cap.
He'll throw that in once in a while.
Yeah, you don't say that too often.
No, it's either no hat or he's got the Stetson on. At any rate, Potente, very good horse. Look, So Happy was legitimately better in the Santa Anita Derby. But is there a chance that this horse could take another step forward into the Derby with having only 3 races under his belt?
Yeah, I mean, he's lightly raced, but to your point, I don't know what's got to change for him to turn the tables on So Happy. So Happy just ran by him fair and square there.
Yeah, no, he sure did. I mean, he is lightly raced. The one positive, he's improved his numbers all 3 starts, so he is on the improve and looks amazing out there, too, on the track.
Well, let me ask you this. When was the last time Bob Baffert had a horse go out there that didn't look amazing, though?
That's a good point.
It's like Steve Asmussen. They always look great. That's full effort on the left, Potente on the right. You can see they've just opened the racetrack, as they will have the exclusive training of Derby and Oaks horses and Sovereignty for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's full effort.
Now, of these two, Simon, Potente and full effort, who do you think has legitimately the better shot of winning this year's Derby?
For me personally, I think this horse.
Really? Okay.
I just think there's a little move forward. I mean, look, it's hard to go against Bob Baffert in a race that he's dominated. What does he won? 6 Derbies or something? But I've liked this horse for quite some time, full effort, and I've been impressed with his work on the dirt, and I just think he can move forward. I think he can. I'm not saying he can jump up and win this race, but I think he's a horse to use underneath for sure.
He reminds me of Brad's horse last year.
Last year, they ran 4th,
yes,
right? Tap it. Was it Tap It Rich or Tap It Wish or something? I can't remember.
I can't remember it.
But he was a synthetic horse that came and he ran huge 4th at a big number.
Final
Gambit. Thank you.
Good job. Way to get that one, guys.
Yeah.
There's full effort. These are our racing experts, Simon Bray, Joe Talamo. Nothing gets by them. So right now, we're watching full effort. He's going to break off with the same work that Commandment and Further Ado had earlier today. And he's getting on his toes a little bit. Body language here, Simon. You
Perfect.
can tell he knows what he's about to do.
Yeah, jogging and hitting on all 4 cylinders there. He'll jog back. If I just turn my head.
He's right behind us.
He should be right behind us,
Yeah, he's right behind us.
I love this view we have.
Yeah. We're right on the clubhouse turn here. So
to be fair, we watch all these works on a television, but it is nice to look over our shoulder and see it as we take a look. And, oh, don't forget, Dawn at the Downs. Come out and watch your favorite Kentucky Derby horses get ready to roll for the Run for the Roses. You can see all the kids out there. Just a great scene here at Churchill Downs. Really great what they do for the fans opening it up in the morning like this.
Make sure you come through gate 17, though.
Yeah, that's gate 17 is where you got to enter. At any rate, we also have opening nights at Churchill Downs. You'll catch that on our airwaves a little bit later. Our opening day, I should say. We'll have the Derby and the Oaks Draw. A lot of excitement here in Louisville today as we are a week away from the Kentucky Derby. Caton?
Yeah, Robbie Alvarado on Right to Party just came out with the pony, and Kenny McPeek giving some instructions both to the pony rider and to Robbie. Said to make sure that the pony was getting the horse into a really good gallop away from the 8th pole. He will have company, and he'll be on the inside of his company, very connected, with an exercise rider, Aaron Kalber, on board. Kenny gave real specific instructions to Robbie as well, that he wanted to make sure that when he broke away from the pole, which would be the 5.5 furlong pole for a 5 furlong workout, that he was in full motion and really going forward, not jogging in the early part to the pole, but actually a full gallop from the 8th pole all the way around, guys.
Did you see the size of that dog that just walked behind Caton?
Was that Kenny McPeek's?
Oh, my God. It looked like a polar bear. What was that thing? Careful, Caton. There's polar bears on the backstretch. There's Full Effort. Once again, we're just waiting for him to break off here. And once again, we say this all the time, but we can't emphasize enough. These works a week out. They're just trying to keep everything on track. You're not going to get them more fit. Don't do too much. Just make sure they stay in their routine, they get their work in, and the aforementioned bubble wrap goes around them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a human athlete preparing for a race, somebody preparing for a marathon, and 3 days before, you're just ticking your legs over. You don't want to go out there and go too fast and leave the race. Like I said yesterday, you can definitely lose a race in a work like this, but you're not going to win one, by being too short. You can't make up fitness now. It's too late. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, and hit that last work, 59-1 on April 17th. That's
the one.
That was the most important one. Now today, anywhere between a minute 101 is absolutely perfect.
Joaquin?
Joe, you're absolutely spot on. Just some more information here, guys, on this final drill by Full Effort coming up here in just a moment. I spoke to his exercise rider, Edvin Vargas, just a second ago, right before they stepped on the racetrack. And I asked him what sort of time he was trying to hit for this 5 furlong drill. And just as Joe said right now, that's exactly what Edvin told me. He said he's looking to go 5 furlongs in a minute and change. He said just a nice, smooth, easy maintenance drill is what they're looking here for Full Effort, guys. Just a little bit more context so we know what we're looking at here in this final drill in just a moment.
Simon's busting out the stopwatch right now, and by stopwatch I mean his iPhone.
Oh, I
he's
love
gonna
it.
He's gonna try and clock this work here.
If I can, it's a little tight. And this is what we're looking at, the 5 furlongs. And that's where they break off at the 5/8 pole to the wire. Some trainers work from the 4 furlong marker an 1/8 past. And to give you reference at the bottom of the screen, the times we're talking about, on the fast end would be 58. That's less than 12 seconds a furlong. On the very slow side, 104. You start going slower than that, it's not even a recorded work.
All right, here we go. And tell me when you hit go.
It's too tight. I can't really see. I should look behind me.
And you'll just see a pole, right? Won't you see the 5/8? That's not it.
Can you see him over there, Joe? I see him down there. Maybe he's going from the...
There you go.
Oh, you know what? Sometimes Brad will work from the 4.5 to the 16th after, actually.
All right. Well, he's in it.
I didn't get him. I'll get him from the 3/8 pole, maybe.
But he looks so good out there. Look at the ears, Mike.
It's all about the ears. Well, it's how he handles the surface is equally as important as how he handles the kickback. But as far as handling the surface, that doesn't seem to be an issue.
No, I mean, that is truly the one question mark. As far as handling the dirt in the morning, I mean, this is absolute. Look at that. I mean, he is absolutely cruising. But again, there's no kickback in his face right now.
Got his head twisted. I mean, I wouldn't say twisted, but he's just tilted a little bit, but he's moving, bouncing over the ground perfectly. And he's clearly a good workhorse because he doesn't need company,
Can you tell anything from the biomechanics, turf horse versus dirt horse? Is there anything you could see here?
He looks like he gets over the ground perfect to me right there. Sometimes you'll see with a turf horse he's getting asked to gallop out. Sometimes you'll see with a turf horse you can obviously look at them working with a high knee action and say they can't handle the dirt. But I think I got him in 24-2 from the quarter pole to the wire, which is pretty good.
And he did it easily. Very easily, well within himself. So far, I think most of the works we've seen, there hasn't been anything remarkable other than the fact that they all look good.
Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, if you're looking for something dramatic, it's probably not going to happen because we're talking about 16,700 foals, right? These are arguably the 19 best of that crop. And that's like taking, the top 20 NFL athletes, putting them in a combine. And, I mean, they all look good, right? They all run a 40-yard dash in whatever time they're going to run in. They've got the jump test. So, I mean, you're looking for stuff that you don't want to see more than that you do want to see.
And I think what's changed, too, over the last few years, so many work riders and exercise riders wear earpieces.
Yes.
So, like right now, Brad Cox throughout that whole work was in Edwin's ear the whole time saying, okay, perfect. Or a lot of times he'll give you, like, oh, you went 12-2, 24-3. So they know. And I think a lot of times, not that it can happen, but it takes away, say, going 58 flat, and then your race is going, or going 103, 104, and you didn't get enough fitness out of it.
Yeah, I don't know why any trainer nowadays wouldn't. Like, if I went back to training tomorrow, first thing I'd do is buy a set of walkers.
Yeah.
Because you're taking I've always said a trainer's job is to take the element of risk and injury or anything that could happen out of the equation. And that takes a lot out of the equation, whether it's, look, there's a loose horse on the track, take the horse off the gap, stuff like that. I mean, it's like Formula One. You guys watch Formula One when they're talking to him? And it's the same thing.
Absolutely. I mean, every sport does it.
Yeah.
Every sport. It's the pitcher and catcher, the
right.
The quarterback with the headpiece. Absolutely. As we take a look at full effort walking after his work there. Now, Chip Honcho on the track. He is working with his stablemate Tiztastic, is that who it is? At any rate, the horse who was third in the Arkansas Derby is going to be Taptastic, excuse me. I said it wrong, but I knew what I was talking about, kind of. Here's Chip Honcho. Chip Honcho, he's been consistent, but he hasn't blown anybody away. He's good. There are some questions here for Chip Honcho, who sits at 16th.
I think the question for me is the distance, quite frankly. I mean, he went through New Orleans. He won the Gun Runner back in December of last year, and then after that was 4th in the Lecomte, 2nd in the Risen Star, and then 5th beating 11.5 lengths in the Louisiana Derby, which is the furthest he's been, going a mile and 3/16.
Out of a turf, man, maybe he's going to be, later on down the road, if it doesn't work out, they try the grass. But, yeah, I mean, look, we've seen Steve Asmussen work horses on these shows, whether it's at the Breeders' Cup or the Derby for years, and this is standard operating procedure. Two horses going, they won't be going 58 or a minute, and they'll just go heads up here together and stay on the bridle, right, Joe?
And look at the rider on the outside on Chip Honcho. He has a watch on his left hand, what you call insurance. You see he keeps looking down. He's making sure not to go too fast or too slow.
Yeah.
See, he's looking down right there?
And the rider on the left, looking down, because the consequences of going too fast when you go back to the barn with this outfit.
Not good.
Not good. Not good.
So grade this one. He lets him nose in front at the wire, and then they gallop out. What did you make of Chip Honcho's workout here?
Looked okay. I mean, there's nothing remarkable there. Like we said, that's a basic Asmussen work, right, Joe? I mean, that's what he does all the time.
Whether it was Rachel Alexander, Curlin, or a $5,000 claimer, they want to stake. He doesn't want any horse to beat the other one. Just keep him head and head the whole way.
You could take every work of Asmussen from the last 20 years off this show, and they would all look the same. Identical.
Well, he's 10,000 victories to the good with this training style of his. So I think he might know what he's doing. And Chip Honcho, I have a lot of question marks about Chip Honcho, the distance being number one on the list. But you never know. I mean, Steve Asmussen, the other thing he does is he uses races to get horses fit. A little bit old school like that. And he'll let these horses run their way into form as well. And if he thinks this horse can move forward, this horse is going to have a shot.
It will. I don't know. I mean, the distance is a question mark, and is he just flat out good enough?
I mean, look, he ran a 73 buyer last time.
Yeah. That's
Louisiana
not
Derby.
Yeah. But there must be some sort of excuse. He might have been outdone by something else. Who knows? But right now, there's a look at him. He is sitting on the list at 16, so he is in the body of the field. And he just put in his final preparation. How about Right to Party? The Beastie Boys hunch play here. And you can tell which one Right to Party is for Kenny McPeek because they have the bright yellow saddle towels. And there he is next to the pony in company. He's going to break away right here.
Yeah, he's got him on the inside here. So, he's down on the inside with the stablemate. He's coming off a second in the Wood Memorial. He's a deep closer. He's a horse that likes to sit back, come with a big late run, pick up some pieces late. First time I've seen this horse work. And he jumps into the bridle pretty good. Like, for a horse that shows no speed in the afternoon, me in company here. He's on the bridle pretty nicely.
And I feel like a lot of times, too, a horse with no speed that they want to get a little bit out of their workout, they would put him inside just so where the outside company can push him along. But he's another one, too. I mean, realistically, he has to jump up big time numbers-wise. I mean, an 81 by last time out, finished in second in the Wood Memorial. And another one, I don't think they're going to go as quick this year, possibly in the Derby, with not a ton of, you know, absolute speed horses. So he's another one that could be pace-dependent coming from way back.
Look, as a member of the media, we would all love Kenny McPeek to win the Derby every year because he's just so great for our line of work. He's great in front of the camera. He's such a great promoter of the sport. I just don't think Right to Party is the horse. I think he's a cut below the top horses in this field. I think there is a clear line of demarcation in this year's Kentucky Derbies of the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, I mean, look at him here. This is the first horse that we've seen being asked to finish. And I wouldn't be alarmed by this, but that's, you know, he's working 5/8. He's a horse that when he runs a mile, what did he run, a mile and 1/8 last time? He's 11 lengths back. He's just not a fast racehorse. And so he's been, you can see why he's put in company. If he wasn't in company, he'd probably have to be asked quite a bit more. So he's just probably a lazy workhorse. Doesn't do a whole lot in the morning, but I think he's got to improve a lot. I think out of all the Derby preps, the Wood Memorial was the weakest one this year.
Well, Albus, hats off to him, but he was coming off a maiden victory,
Yeah.
and he won like a good thing that day. Let's check in again with Joaquin.
Yeah, Mike, thank you. Just walking full effort back to the barn right now. Just had a quick word with his exercise rider, Edvin Vargas. I said, Edvin, did you get a time on this horse? And Edvin said that Brad told him that they got full effort in 59 and 4. 59 and 4 for 5 furlongs on their watch. But he said he did it in hand in a very easy move in his final drill here for the Kentucky Derby. Brad Cox is on the front side watching these works right now, guys. He's on his way back to the barn. So give me about 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll try to catch up with trainer Brad Cox and get a review of all 3 of the morning workouts that we've seen so far for his team going into the Kentucky Derby.
But that's what we talk about. Very good horses can work fast times and make it look effortless. How do you grade that as far as how it looked?
I'd give it an A+. I mean, he looked great to me.
Would you have thought it was sub 1 minute?
No.
It looked like a minute and 2, minute
Yeah,
and 3,
just
visually.
cruising around there. I think what impressed me more was post work. If you see him, I watched him walk back. It's like nothing had ever happened. This horse is as fit as can be. He didn't turn a hair. He pulled up and just walked back. Got a great mind. And to me, that's a lot of it in the Kentucky Derby. I keep talking about this every year. You can have all the physical attributes, but if you can't handle the hour and 40 minutes it takes to get from the barn area in front of 160,000 people here, horses lose it over on the walkover. I've made that walkover, and it's insane.
So can you train a horse to take kickback without actually, like, could we stand in front of him and throw dirt at his face like I did at you in the Equicizer last year? Would that help?
Well, you could work him behind horses for sure. You could.
What if I wanted to throw dirt at him? You think Brad would allow me?
Probably not.
Okay.
You'd
Probably
probably get kicked off the backside.
Yeah.
Really?
I would think.
Even me?
But the thing is, like, you
TV's
can,
Mike Joyce, my face is my credential.
you can work him in behind a couple of horses and get splattered in dirt, but there's nothing like going into the turn. I mean, you can't replicate going into the turn with 19 other runners and all that dirt.
How much dirt is there in that turn? I mean, that's like
a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 6 horses at Fairplex.
I'll show you guys later. I think we're doing the Equicizer, but the 3 derbies I rode, I wore at least 6 goggles.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not enough.
And now they wear, a lot of the Japanese guys wear the welding mask. You've seen the welding mask? You know, the plastic, the whole full face thing, right?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
like
I call it the welder's mask.
Yeah, the welder.
Little shield.
The welder's mask. I love it.
If you need another job, Joe.
Couple other contenders making their way on the track. Who is that?
That's Albus Incredible.
Oh, there's
That's
all
the
right.
Mott Barn, I think.
That's Albus.
Bill's got the one. Bill had the green with the 1 diamond.
Yeah.
Riley's put another diamond inside. Like, so
Is that what it is?
That's what it
too?
is.
I like
Yeah.
that.
The double diamond.
And you know where that came from? The green with the diamond?
What?
So Bill was private trainer for Burt Firestone years ago. Had a horse called Theatrical. Ever heard of him? And when the Firestones, he was private trainer, had all the equipment, and then when the Firestones went out of business, they're like, hey, just keep the equipment. So that's how he came up with the green with the white diamond.
Because it was already branded for him.
He didn't have to pay for it.
I love that.
He didn't have to pay for it, Joe.
That's my type of guy.
I'm surprised you and Bill Mott didn't team up more throughout your careers, Joe. At any rate, the Riley Mott horses making their way onto the track. And look, I know we don't think that the Wood Memorial is going to be a key race for this year's Derby, but hats off to Riley Mott. I mean, he has managed his stable brilliantly, very quick into his career. He's got 2 horses in the Kentucky Derby.
4 years in, he's got 2 horses in the Derby. You got trainers been in 44 years in, don't have one.
Well, not only that, I mean, he's learned from one of the greatest horsemen of our lifetime, his father, Bill Mott. So,
I mean, creepy how much they're similar, though. I mean, you want to talk about stamping your progeny.
So this is so funny. Our golf club that we're members at, last summer, someone was walking in. We were like at the end of the pool. I'm like, God, that looks like Bill Mott. Like I didn't even think anything of it. It was Riley.
Really?
I swear.
Yeah, the first time I met him, it was like shocking.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute clone. We have a cavalry charge behind us of about 7 horses working at the same time. Great atmosphere. If you can make it out to Dawn at the Downs, I highly recommend it. Let's go to Kate and Bradar.
Guys, it took us a little while to get back to the barn because there were a lot of people in between the stand and here. But I just said to Kenny, it was a little scary. There was some anxious moments as the Japanese horse, Wonder Dean, was pulling up a little too close to the rail for comfort.
Yeah, it looked like that horse actually bolted going out there and then bolted down to the inside rail. And my guys had to steady pretty sharp. I think it slowed down our first 8th, but I think they finished up good. Unfortunately, that horse got out of the way just in time, but it was a little scary. And we can talk a little bit about yesterday, too. I had a little
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, yesterday, he was carrying his head high in the gallops, and I said, well, we need to check his mouth. So Marty Heisel got in here early this morning and found that he popped a couple of caps were loose, and we got those caps out. Unfortunately, it was uncomplicated. We had to do that 2 hours before the work. And his teeth weren't due to be done, but something came loose in there with one of the caps. And this is typical with young horses. You want to get any cuts and any caps that are coming loose because they're growing, they're shedding. But anyway, we got those out, and he went much better today. He kept his head down, and he was what I call bilaterally good with his mouth, and I think that's a big deal. And today's workout's a maintenance workout. I wasn't worried about time, but that was scary.
There were no adjustments as far as change of equipment or anything as a result of the cap issue?
No. We just put a basic D-bit on him, and I put him inside today, and last week I put him outside. I think he's more focused inside, but he works much faster if I guess we're coming this way. He works much faster if whose company? All right, just 3/8, Rob, held together.
Kenny, you just referenced to Greg Geyer, one of your assistants, and I was speaking to some of your team. There's decades of experience on the racetrack, horsemen in all levels of your operation. Talk a little about that.
Yeah, I got the old farts. Yeah. No, truth is that, we all come from the same time period. I've been around Greg for a long time. He's very accomplished. Jimmy Jerkin's very accomplished. He's handled her right to party all, really most of his career until the last few weeks we brought him down here. So he gets a lot of credit for this horse's preparation. But, yeah, I like that. I mean, these guys, unfortunately, the industry doesn't support enough horses for them, and I like to scoop them up and work with them and give them some freedom to do what they do well. And, most people know me as a guy that buys a lot of yearlings and brings those in. And so my position in some cases is kind of helicopter man and making sure everybody's got what they need.
Very different experience for you with this horse as opposed to Mystic Dan. Talk a little about the expectation level, but also I think the pressure level is different once you've got one of these under your belt.
Well, they're all everyone you bring to the Derby is different. Of course, Mystic Dan was a bit of a Maserati. I mean, you knew he had turn of foot, and we knew he liked Churchill. This horse is so much different because he's a grinder, and I think he's going to just grind it out and come late, and that's going to be his style. But he's going to need an inside trip, and he's going to have to run the race of his life, and everything's going to have to go right. But this race is odd the way it sets up, and yes, having won it, very comfortable. Yeah.
As is the case for your mascot, but we got to mention him because the guys referenced him on they weren't quite sure if it was a dog or some other wild big beast.
He's a good one. He loves coming out here in the morning. Oh my God, you can't imagine how excited he gets.
That is Sonny, and it wouldn't be a Derby without Sonny here.
Yeah, he's a good one. Yeah, when I pop up in the morning, if I say, "You ready?" Boom, let's go. Right? Speak. Come on, show him how smart you are. Huh?
He's smart enough to know not to. Guys, good to have this work out of the way, and Sonny says all systems go.
Yep. Now we got to sit and get out.
I know Sonny well, actually. I met him 2 years ago. Mystic Dan at the Preakness.
Preakness, yeah.
He was hanging out by the set. He was a real nice friend of mine. He came up on the set and sat right next to me for about an hour.
Interesting when he was talking about the tooth thing there. I wouldn't be too alarmed about that. Horses have caps. It's like young kids shedding their first set of teeth. But what happens, usually at this time of year, you'll have a trainer, I'll have a dentist, an equine dentist come in once every couple of months and go through the whole barn and start taking the caps out. They have these, they almost look like pliers, and they just pull them out. They shed out really easy. But if you don't get them in time, the edges are really, really sharp. I mean, razor sharp. Trainers, and I used to put my hands in there and check and see. And if you put your finger up in there and one shedding, you can slice it. It's like super sharp. So that's what was happening. Probably cut them out, get them out of there. It heals up really quickly. So I wouldn't be too alarmed about that.
Is that when a lot of times they'll like
they got to rasp them down, because they get so sharp. They'll take a rasp. It looks like going to Home Depot. Just go to Home Depot, the tool section. You get a rasp about this long, and they have this thing they put in there, and they just rasp them down.
There are, and it's somewhat recently, there are a number of trainers who are very keen on keeping a horse's mouth healthy. It's healthy mouth, healthy horse.
Well, one, they can't eat. They have trouble eating if they got loose caps because all the food gets stuck in there. It hurts. And two, I mean, you basically lose the power steering.
Right.
I mean, the bit goes in there, and that's why you'll see horses throw their heads and stuff like that.
Let's check in with Andy Biancone.
Gosh. Well, guys, we saw Chip Honcho put in a nice work on the outside of stablemate Taptastic. Looked like a nice, easy breeze. Steve Asmussen has sent the videos to the ownership connection. So Lee Ackerley, James Sherwood, they're going to sit down and have a conversation to see whether Chip Honcho will run in the Derby or if they will divert and wait for the Preakness. But in the meantime, the Pletcher horses have shipped in, so we will check in there. And, of course, we will check in with Steve towards the end of the morning after he's done riding the pony.
Oh, he's going for a nice pony ride.
There we go.
Well, I'm glad you're taking some time to yourself, Steve. At any rate, we'll have more here as the horses right now, the Derby horses for the most part have left the racetrack. They had that window from 7:15 to 7:30 right after the renovation. They get the fresh racetrack. We had the three biggest works of the day. We're still going to show you Commandment in a little bit, but further ado, we took a look at Full Effort. We took a look at, we just got a little look at Right to Party. Thus far, pretty unremarkable work show in the first couple of days. We haven't seen anything to be alarmed about.
Correct.
We haven't seen anything that would say, I would say this, perhaps a couple horses that turned heads, Emerging Market, I think we all kind of took a look at and said, even though he's got the 2 starts under his belt and he's coming in light, looked like $1 million on the racetrack yesterday. And Chad Brown quietly confident about coming in with the horse as well.
I think that's what I've taken away more than anything. You could tell when you talk to him, he knows he's very confident in that horse.
Yeah.
Even though he only has the 2 starts.
Yeah, I mean, he really impressed me. I love the way that horse moves over the ground. I like him. I like Full Effort. And we've seen everything that we're expected to see. Further Ado's up-tempo horse in the afternoon. He does that in the morning. And then we just saw Right to Party. We said the same thing Kenny McPeek said. He's a grinder. You see it in the past performances. You saw it in the workout.
One more thing I will say about Emerging Market. I have a sneaking suspicion that no one's going to say they have a favorite child. I think Chad liked Emerging Market more so than even Paladin the whole time. He got him to the races late. I understand that. But I think from a raw talent perspective, even though he lost what was the potential Derby favorite in Paladin, he had to be taken out of the mix because of an injury. I think they always thought Emerging Market was the better horse.
Yeah, and I think, Joe, you mentioned this yesterday, and I think, Chad's history, I think, even with 2 starts, he could have run him in the Preakness. He could have skipped this race.
Yes.
He's a conservative trainer. He doesn't have to just jump in here. And I think he knows he's got the tools to do it. He's got a great mind. And I think that's what forced the issue for him to come here rather than skip, go to the Preakness.
Well, not only that, Chad's so sharp. I don't think off a maiden victory he wouldn't have sent that horse all the way to New Orleans if he didn't think he had a shot. And the one good thing for Emerging Market, even though he only has 2 starts, I was going a mile and 3/16, not a typical mile and an 1/8 for the last Derby prep. So from a fitness standpoint, even though he does only have 2 starts, I mean, that's definitely really well in his wheelhouse that it was that far.
This is not dissimilar from Chief Wallaby and Bill Mott.
Right.
You have a conservative trainer who's very meticulous, who never rushes a horse, and he puts him in the Fountain of Youth in his 2nd start, and the horse runs 2nd in the Florida Derby in his 3rd start, and he comes into the Kentucky Derby with just 3 starts. It's similar situations from horsemen who are both very meticulous and take their time and never rush anyone. Right now, let's check in with Kate and Bradar.
Well, he's better known as Santos Inc. Joe Santos is jockey agent for, I don't know how many jockeys right now.
10 riders.
And we're going to talk more about how you actually juggle that. But the immediate business is Chris Elliott, young rider who's going to be riding in his first Kentucky Derby about right to party. This has got to be heady times for all of you.
Yeah, it's super exciting. You know, Chris is such a nice young man, and we're really excited for the opportunity.
Tell us a little more about him as a rider.
Yeah, you know, he's very, very versatile. You know, he can come from off the place. He's aggressive when he needs to be. Had success on the grass and the dirt. You know, now we're just opening up the grass again in New York. We did win a couple stakes on it last year at Naira. So very versatile, tries very hard, wants to learn every day. And he's got a great teacher on his side with Stuart.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that. Does he getting a lot of hands-on experience on a regular basis from, you know, feedback from his dad?
Yeah, they talk every day from my understanding. So go over races, go over them after they happen. So it's a big help.
Well, he didn't have the best of luck, but he certainly had success, his father did. That type of experience, is that helpful, or is it helping Chris prepare for this year's Derby?
Not just the Derby, but all around. You know, there's a lot that's been thrown at Chris. In 2 years ago, he was riding at Lone Star Park. You know, at the age of 18, we moved him to New Jersey, then New York City, Saratoga. You know, trying to win an Eclipse Award, the whole campaign that came with that, riding 7 days a week. So he's handled everything extremely professionally, and that's just kind of the person he is.
When will we see him here at Churchill? We'll have an opportunity to ride a little before the big race?
Yes. So he's riding in New York this weekend. Then on Tuesday, he rides at the Finger Lakes, and then he's coming down here on Wednesday to ride. So he'll fly down Tuesday night after he's done riding at the Finger Lakes, ride here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
You're giving him a chance to rest for a second.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had business at the Finger Lakes, and he wanted to stay in his regular rhythm, you know. Got to treat it like it's just a race.
So, Joe, with 10 riders, how do you juggle it all? How do you keep track and make sure that each of them is getting what they need as individuals and then continuing to run the operation, which you've done very successfully?
Just a lot of hours. Yeah, just keep working on the computer, stay organizing, stay in contact with people. That's about it.
And who else will you have here at Churchill?
Julian Leperoux, and then when Oaklawn finishes, Manny Esquivel will come over here.
Busy man, but fun times.
Yeah, very fun. Super excited.
Appreciate it, Joe Santos, and we will be watching for Chris Elliott. Those first-time rookie riders actually have a very good record in the Kentucky Derby.
There's been multiple features done on Joe Santos and on multiple media outlets, but the thing that it all comes back to is that you get the sense it's not a job to him. He just likes doing it. He gets the condition book with his riders and goes, oh, this is the fun part, right? And he's got 4 different condition books with 4 different tracks and 2 riders at each track, or 5 different condition books, and he's, you know, putting all the pieces together. He loves to do it.
Well, the game's changed. I think what Wayne Lucas did to satellite training, Joe Santos is doing to what,
yes.
you know,
satellite agenting.
Yeah, and I think a lot to do with that was COVID. I mean, back when I was training, you know, the agents came out every morning, 6 in the morning, pounded barn to barn, face to face with a condition book in their back pocket.
That's completely changed.
It's completely changed. A lot of these agents now are not even at the track in the morning, and it's more of a European model. In Europe, the agents don't go to the track.
Right.
They can't. They can't travel all day long. You'd be in the car 100 hours a day.
And for people that don't know, you can only have 2 jockeys and I think 1 apprentice at one track. So the reason he's able to have 10 riders, it's all throughout different tracks around the country, which is not an easy thing at all to keep track of.
No, but he has a computer. He has some computer program, probably gets a little bit of help as well, and just manages it like that.
This is the insight we pay Simon for. He has a computer. Great.
You'd be surprised how many people don't back there.
Let's start talking Commandment. This was earlier today, just shortly after the stablemate of his Further Ado work. Commandment made his way onto the racetrack. I think this might be the forgotten horse, and you might get the best price of all the major contenders in this year's Derby. Here's a look at him, and obviously he's the one in the yellow saddle towel. He's a horse. Is this a thing? I feel like he runs angry. This is a horse who always has his ears pinned. He barrels through holes that aren't there. He's like an enforcer in hockey. He doesn't care. He's going to win. Maybe not the fastest numbers, but boy, is he gritty.
Yeah, he just gets the job done. He's not a horse that's going to blow your socks off and win by 6 or 7 lengths every time. He just ekes it out. We've seen him train earlier this week. He's clearly... I mean, he moves a lot better in his faster paces. I don't know the horse personally. I haven't seen him in the all winter long, but he gets over the ground nicely working. He's a different animal when they let him stretch his legs a little bit.
And to me, I think of all the 3 Brad Cox horses, I mean, even though he's so accomplished winning the Florida Derby and Fountain of Youth prior to that, more workmanlike in the mornings. I mean, Further Ado and even Full Effort earlier, to me, seem a little bit more on the flashier side, where Commandment's one, he just kind of does what he has to do.
I'll take him in a fight, though. That's the thing. I feel like he
loves a
battle.
Fight. Yeah,
absolutely loves a battle.
And I think Luis Saez is going to fit this horse absolutely perfect, because he is a horse I think you do have to kind of wind up early around a turn to get him to engage with horses. So I think he's going to fit him perfectly.
Well, and you think he'll fit him perfectly, but he's had a lot of jockeys on him, and we're going to take a look at all the riders that have had a chance, and he just keeps doing the same thing, winning.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at all the riders that have been aboard Commandment. So Irad Ortiz was aboard for the maiden victory. Then next out, you had Jaime Torres, who got him to the maiden victory. It was Irad for the first maiden start. And then in his first stakes event in the Mucho Macho Man, back to Irad as he won that day. Irad would be aboard again for the Fountain of Youth as they score in that race. And once again, he was the only horse to sweep all 3 major prep races on a single circuit, but it was Flavien Prat in the irons for the Florida Derby.
Now he's going to have Luis Saez in the Kentucky Derby. So, yeah, I mean, interesting. You don't usually see a good horse like that have so many top jockeys.
Yeah.
Like jump from mount to mount.
Well, yeah, it shows you the embarrassment of riches that Irad Ortiz and Flavien Prat had on the Derby Trail this year. They had so many top contenders, they had to pick one, and that opens it up for Luis Saez, who is a world-class rider. I think earlier in his career, he was like the best-kept secret in horse racing. Tons of talent, riding in a big circuit. Kind of got forgotten. We all know Luis Saez now. We all know how good of a rider he is. We all know how strong he can be and what he's done on the racetrack. He's an established name and a world-class rider. He's
such a great gate jockey, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we laughed at Keeneland the last few weeks, handicapping horses. I forgot which ones it were, but, horses that are kind of mid-pack and not that much speed in there. And we're like, oh, for sure, Louis is going to be in front. And
boom. Sure
enough, I mean, horses that never show speed, he's just so, to your point, he's so strong. His timing is great when the gates open, and that's what makes him so great.
And he's on a live one for the Kentucky Derby. He's on Commandment. And I still think come post time, he will be a much larger price than what that resume says he should be. I think he's going to be the overlay of the big horses. Always look for a price. I'm not commanding you. That is a commandment from the Horseplayer's commandments. We go from Commandment to the Horseplayer commandments. Take a look as thou shalt obey the Horseplayer commandments.
The Horseplayer commandments.
Thou shalt not go all but one. Notice on the betting terminals, there is an all button. On your FanDuel Racing app, there is an all button. There is not an all but one button.
Thou shalt not ignore the small barn from out of town.
If you see a horse walking around the paddock like they own the world, play that horse.
If a horse is washing out really bad in the post braid and he did not do that the prior race or the race before that, automatic toss out for me.
If you're at the track with your buddies and your horse is up by 4 at the 8th pole, never say you got it.
Because invariably, some horse will come running in the final 16th and nail you.
Losing tickets lead to more losing tickets. So after every race, pick them up and take them right to the trash.
No $50 bills. You never hand the salt hand to hand. You got to set it down. No hats on the bed.
When constructing a pick 4 or pick 5, thou shalt not single a horse in a bottom maiden claiming race.
My #1 gambling commandment is to trust your gut.
Go with your instincts.
Don't forget to back your opinion with a win bet. That win bet is crucial.
Thou shalt not leave the speed horse turning back in distance off your tickets in a 7-furlong race.
Another commandment, bet small and win big. Don't bet big to win small. There you go.
The Horseplayer commandments.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dave. Dave Weaver. Bet small to win big. Don't bet big.
Did he
to win
use that
small.
advice at Oakland last
Never.
No.
At any rate, those are the commandments, and that was Commandment. At this point in time, have you guys found anything that's changed your opinion in the first 2 mornings? Anything that's really made you think, I've got to reassess my my analysis here?
I would say full. I hate to keep harping on this. I would say full effort. I was in. I wanted to see him work, and I've looked at some of his works on tape, and I wanted to see him in person because I hadn't. And yeah, I liked him, but now what I've seen, that's absolutely he's gonna come into my business on Derby Day.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see like I'm jumping on your bandwagon, but same thing. I mean, that was just so impressive the way he does it. And even Further Ado to me has stuck out well. Off of that romp in the bluegrass, I was curious to see if he was going to regress a little bit off of that romp, maybe took a little bit out of him. I don't think that race took anything out of him.
The only angle I've heard against Further Ado is people saying he ran too fast. Think about that. Just take horse racing out of it. Why don't you like this horse? He ran too fast. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we return, it won't be too fast, I promise you. We are going to take a look at how you can get outfitted up as I got my Derby drip on my way to Kentucky. One of the all-time great horses. People are going to say, what do you mean all-time great horses? He wins on synthetic. He wins the Dubai World Cup. He wins the Kentucky Derby. They put him in the turf mile against Goldakova, or against Wise Dan, and he misses by that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that was one of the best turf milers in the world. One of the best turf milers ever, a multiple Breeders' Cup turf mile, and he missed by that.
And he never stepped foot on the dirt going into the Kentucky Derby. That was the era of, obviously, synthetic racing.
Animal Kingdom's talent was off the charts. Absolutely off the charts. Another horse who was off the charts, the performance in the Arkansas Derby by Renegade was sensational. His final eighth, 11 and change, flying. He is going to probably be your Kentucky Derby favorite. Here's a look at him back on April 23rd at Palm Beach Downs as Renegade getting his final work. And Todd Pletcher made this decision because he didn't want to worry about the rain. He said, I can't tell you how nice it is to get this final work in and not to worry. Now, he's cutting it close as far as shipping in. It has to be on the grounds by 11 o'clock today?
11 o'clock today. He left. He's scheduled to arrive at 3 a.m. this morning, so he should be on the backside. But, yeah, Pletcher said this is the first time that I haven't laid awake at night worrying about the weather. Stayed down there, knew I was going to get a perfect weather conditions. And he's just breezed the whole month. All he's done is breezed, a couple of half miles. So he's fit, very good workhorse. I think visually he jumped into the radar and a lot of people's radar after the Arkansas Derby, obviously, but hopefully he can put back-to-back efforts together.
Yeah, he's a tremendously talented horse, and that kick home, you and I were there for that, Joe. I mean, it was breathtaking. It really was. And he ran by a very nice horse in Silent Tactic.
Yeah, it's not like he was running in a bad field or anything.
No, that was a loaded race.
Came from way back. They didn't necessarily fly either. I mean, 47-4, 112-2. In the Arkansas Derby, and I mean, that turn of foot, it looked almost turf-like.
Yeah.
Last eighth of a mile.
On a racetrack that's anything but turf.
Yeah.
Andy Biancone knows Renegade quite well. One of the many horses she has worked for Todd Pletcher. And Andy, he always puts you on live ones, and I hear your old buddy has made his way to Churchill.
Well, Renegade has shipped into Churchill Downs in perfect order per assistant trainer Sophie Green. Him and Zany both arrived at about 2:45 this morning. So been a bit of a long day, but he looks fantastic. Zany will train tomorrow early before Derby training hours, and we can expect to see Renegade go straight off during Derby training hours time. But he looks awesome. As you guys know, I got to get on Renegade before the Arkansas Derby, and I'm not kidding. This horse felt incredibly special. He was super smart. He certainly has the right mindset of a champion. Really just gave me a good feeling that day. When we galloped, I literally got chills across my body. He was so in tuned with what you wanted as a rider. And his exercise rider, Nora McCormack, is actually driving up today from Florida. So she will be aboard both Zany and Renegade. She's been galloping both of them since they were 2-year-olds, been with them the entire way. And she really has done a great job because both these horses are extremely kind. But I'm personally looking forward to seeing Renegade on the track tomorrow. Maybe I'll be a little bit jealous that I won't be on him, but I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to sit on him at one point. And of course, I'll be rooting Nora on with Renegade, Team Rapoli, and Todd Pletcher. But like I said, he looks like he's shipped in great order. His coat is very shiny. Sometimes horses on the van, they could kind of sweat a little bit and look maybe a bit dry coming first thing in the morning, but he looks just absolutely perfect. So he's certainly handled the ship well, and we look forward to seeing Renegade on the track tomorrow.
Of course, Mike Rapoli, outspoken, and he is making his opinions heard. Whether you like or dislike what he's doing or the way he's going about it, I think what's important, and everybody in racing needs to realize, you do want Mike Rapoli to win a Derby. You want somebody who puts that much money into the sport to be successful at its highest level, whether you root for him or against him. That is something that you really want to see happen. You want to keep people like that engaged. The last thing you want is for him to get fed up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. So success for the Rapoli stable in the Kentucky Derby is paramount to our sport.
Might be a few people that say they don't want him to do it anymore. It's a group of gentlemen.
Look, I was when they DQ'd maximum security from the Kentucky Derby, right? And everyone was talking about how Gary West comported himself afterwards. I was like, they literally took the garland of roses out of Mary's hands.
I couldn't imagine.
Like, do you know how I would react?
Right.
And I also thought it was great that he threw the gauntlet down, like, I'm going to put $20 million out there. We're going to turn everything into a mattress. I'm like, this is great. Like, people are like, oh, you can't do that. Why not?
Yeah.
I think that's how horse racing started, right? I mean, it was like two kings back in middle-aged times saying, I bet you my horse is faster than your horse. The winner gets Spain. Right? I mean, that's what it was. It was rich guys with horses saying, well, I'm going to put my money up against yours.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'd be a made-for-TV event should Rapoli win the Derby, right, in primetime hours. And it's a good story. He teamed up with the Robert and Luana Lowe, who have been in the business a long time. They bred Renegade. They sold this horse for $975,000. Rapoli bought him. Then they started having FOMO and went back to him like, oh, no, we sold you the horse. Now can we get back in?
He lets him back in.
Lets him back in
That's
for 50%.
Great. That's great.
And in the post-race interview with Andy, that was the first thing he mentioned. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. So, Andy, by the way, was on the back of Renegade for that gallop, as we heard, and yeah, she's a little jealous that she doesn't get to get back on him for the gallop before the Kentucky Derby. But you know, as you just told us, such a great opportunity to be able to be with such a majestically moving, talented racehorse.
Yes, Mike, and I'll be happily cheering Renegade on from the ground this time around, but certainly grateful for the opportunity to have even sat on his back. Really a special horse, and you could even see that specialness come out in the Arkansas Derby. I mean, Irad was testing what he had. When you have the opportunity to ride so many Derby horses and you have to make a choice, you're obviously going to try to test the waters to see who's going to be your best shot, and I think that's exactly what he did in the Arkansas Derby. He buried him behind horses, came from way off the pace, and Renegade absolutely toyed with them. But he's very much the same way in the mornings. He's relaxed, he's kind, he's got a great mouth. He's almost like driving a car. You look somewhere, he's there. You think lead change, he swaps leads. He's just does everything automatic, push button, and like I said, like a car. He doesn't take a long time to get going. He's got that immediate acceleration and just so in tuned with what you want as a rider. So a very classy horse that, like I said, I will cherish that moment forever, and I will really be rooting him on coming into the Kentucky Derby.
All right, Andy, let me ask you this, though. You just go through the list of horses that you have galloped for Todd Pletcher, because I don't think you've ever sat on one that wasn't as live can be.
Yeah, super grateful. It started with Antiquarian last year. They needed a rider for him. I got an Antiquarian. He was fantastic. And then it went to Mindframe. Now, Mindframe's typical rider, Carlos Quevedo, got stuck in the Charlotte airport. So he was supposed to come to the Stephen Foster with a rider, but things didn't go as planned. So Todd asked me if I could get on Mindframe. That ended up in a very nice result with him winning the Stephen Foster. Since then, I've also been on Local Knowledge, who was a maiden winner for Spendthrift Farm at Keeneland last fall, and class president before the Rebel, and Renegade before the Arkansas Derby. So Team Tap, woohoo!
Andy, I mean this in the best possible way. I think you have a future in this business, my friend. Andy Biancone getting on the back of some of the best horses that Pletcher sent out the last 2 years. I mean, that's 4 Grade 1 winners.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And they all win after she gets on them. So,
right.
Andy B, let us know what else we got coming.
You maybe should ask her if she could help you hustle some horses.
Yeah, coming up there. Hopefully that helmet still fits.
I don't know, man. Your head's gotten pretty big since you took this job.
Well, I think Simon could be my agent. You could be my valet. It'd be perfect.
Dream team. Dream team.
I don't carry saddles for nobody. Let's check in with Kate and Bradar.
Well, Irad Ortiz, just outside the barn with Renegade, having just arrived a little while ago. Irad, there was a lot of discussion about which horse you were going to choose, you and your agent, before all was said and done. Ultimately, you end up on Renegade, who looks to be the favorite for the Kentucky Derby. What are the qualities that make him your Derby horse?
I mean, they all are very nice. Unfortunately, we can ride only one, and unfortunately, because they are all so talented, and we ended up in Renegade, and I wish I could ride all of them, but it's impossible. You have to only ride one, so it was a very tough decision for Steve and I. You know, we are a team, but I mean, let him do his thing, and you know, I'm just happy and positive and try to have a good trip and have the right horse.
You rode him in the Sam Davis to victory, and then you rode him in the Arkansas Derby. Was there a difference? Did he take a big step forward? Is he just maintaining? What are you feeling in him?
I think he stepped forward at Oakland. I was really nice from him, and you know, he's growing mentally too, and so hopefully keep going the right way.
Have you let yourself think about what it would mean to win the Derby?
I don't want to. I try to just don't think about it, but it's a drink. It will be a dream come true, and it's the race that we all want to win, but definitely. But it's what it is. I just try to don't think about it. I don't know how I'm gonna react, honestly, if I cross the wire in front. It's so important race.
You don't get a lot of time to think about it because you're too busy riding and winning races. Congratulations on a huge Keeneland meet.
Thank you. We try to stay busy. I mean, Steve do an amazing job. have a huge support from a lot of owners, especially from Brad, honestly, and all of them here in the backside. I love that. I've been my second time probably. This is gonna be first year full time around here, and I can explain how good they've been to me in a short time, you know. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to keep going, you know, keep going forward, keep learning, keep going forward. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, no telling where you'll end up if you keep going forward. It's been pretty good so far. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's always some room to improve, so we like that. So
certainly going to be a busy man in the next few days as Irad Ortiz, top rider at Keeneland Racecourse and aboard the likely favorite in the Kentucky Derby.
So let me ask you this, Joe. Let's say you're a jockey in that position. You make a decision, and then the horse you take off wins the Kentucky Derby.
Ooh. Oh, you blame the agent, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an assistant trainer. When a horse wins, you go, I did a good job. When he loses, the trainer doesn't know what he's doing.
It's more money, more problems kind of thing.
I mean, look, that is an unbelievable position to be in, to have to choose between two of the top Derby horses. Now, saying that, it's very hard. You don't want to get anyone mad because on the flip side, someone's going to be disappointed that you didn't ride that horse.
Even at that level, they don't understand up here in the stratosphere of horse racing, Todd versus Brad versus Chad.
I mean, that's a tough call. I mean,
Yeah.
those are two really good horses, Renegade and Commandment. But, I mean, that's kind of why I like Renegade. I mean, if you kind of jockey handicap, I mean, for Irad, who's, one of the best in the game to pick him, I mean, obviously he sees something.
I got to listen to you all day. I'm not listening to the actual jockey.
Well, and the thing, we talk about jockey handicapping, but this is the one race that you can do it, Mike. On an allowance race on a Wednesday afternoon,
You have no idea.
Somebody's entered at the last minute. You've
Yeah.
given a call to. They're not. It's not politics here. You're going to get on the best horse, no matter who trains it.
Right, and here's a look. This was just such an eye-catching move that he made. And look, Silent Tactic isn't going backwards.
No.
I mean, this is just this Silent Tactic is a real nice racehorse. And he ran by him like he was glued to the post.
Very impressive. I mean, the way he picked up, he accelerated like a turf horse there the last eighth of a mile.
I was at two prep races where the final eighth really jumped out at me. Incredibolt in the Virginia Derby came home in 12 flat, and then that horse coming home in 11-3 or 11-2, whatever it was. Just visually, and then the stopwatch reinforcing what you saw with your eyes. Both of those horses, I think, need to be taken seriously. Obviously, Renegade probably goes as the favorite.
And even I remember when we were there at Oaklawn Park down the backside, we're like, he's going to have to be a monster to win this.
Right.
He still had a lot of work to do in that race, and he's a monster.
He's an absolute monster, yes. At any rate, that is a good look there. By the way, we are going to get to the part all of you have been waiting for, which is me getting dressed. Okay, maybe you're not really. Simon Bray has a text conversation back and forth going with a very famous person who wants to see one of their horses. I'm not going to say who it is, but I will say this. I'm going to look in the camera right now. I can bust the pants off a table. That's all I'm saying. Top busboy for like 3 years once. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. When we return, I'm going to get my Derby drip. Got to get outfitted for the Run for the Roses. More to come on Breakfast at the Derby.
Silver Charm out toward the center of the track, trying to chase down Freehouse, who has a short lead. Captain Bodgett is under the whip. They're at the 8th pole. He's still got 2 lengths to make up. Pulpit is fading on the rail. It's Silver Charm at the 16th pole. Freehouse to the inside. Captain Bodgett is running after Silver Charm. Here's the line. It'll be close, and it is Silver Charm.
It was a lucky gray and a beautiful gray and Silver Charm winning the Kentucky Derby for Bob Baffert. And another gray horse, a great big gray horse, Great White, just arrived shipping over from Lexington just a few minutes ago. Literally, his trainer, John Ennis, is on the shake. And he just mentioned to me, he is a big horse. Is probably one of the bigger horses in this year's field, if not the biggest. But boy, for his first trip around this barn, he's been sensible, taking it all in, and just a beautiful looking horse as well. He's on the bubble. Just ask John. He stands at number 22. But all Oaks and Derby horses that would to be entered later this afternoon have to be on the grounds by 11 o'clock Eastern time today. So you're seeing a lot of the last arrivals getting in literally right now. I know that Cherie DeVoe's horse is on the way. Percy's Bar also just arriving. But Great White is playing the waiting game and also waiting to see what happens so far as the entries are concerned. There may be a few horses that are last-minute entrants that we hadn't been hearing much about who were farther down on the also eligible list as far as the points are concerned. But in order to have a chance to run, they have to enter. So a number of those trainers that are on the bubble and not yet in the field are making sure that their horses are on the grounds and are here and will be entered. So this is going to be very interesting to see how it all shakes out at the draw. But in the meantime, I'm kind of fascinated with Great White, who won the Battaglia back in February, then ended up on the rail and led for about the early portion, maybe 3/8 of a mile or so of the Bluegrass Stakes in his dirt debut at 1 1/8 miles. He flattened out that day, but very different story here at Churchill as far as how the track plays and how the pace may play for this year's Kentucky Derby. If he makes it into the field, he certainly adds an element of early speed and will be interesting to watch. And I know a number of people who like to bet on the Grays will be cheering on Great White. Right now, let's check in with Joaquin.
A busy morning for trainer Brad Cox, working out all 3 of his Kentucky Derby horses. We'll go in order here, starting with Commandment. What did Commandment do today?
He was in company, breezed well, broke off from the 4.5, went 5/8. I had him in 101. Got away from his workmate on the gallop out. Threw up his ears, looked good, galloped out all the way down the backside, and moving great. I mean, the guy breezed him, Jonathan Santiago. Been on him all winter and said he feels great, moving well, and good work for him. That's kind of what he does, and pleased with the move.
Is that part of the reason why you put him in company for his final drill?
For sure. He's a laid-back horse. I mean, I think that's probably a good thing, and just trying to, make sure we get enough out of him.
Your Bluegrass winner, Further Ado, what'd you see from him today?
Good breeze. Johnny breezed him. First time he's ever been on him. He liked him, said he was moving great. I thought the track may have been a little bit heavier early as opposed to the 7:15 break, but overall getting through the track really well. Another one that, I had him in a minute out 13 and, threw up his ears going up the backside when he was finished and looked like there was another gear.
He ran off the screen in the Bluegrass, put up a career best 106 Buyer, the highest in the field. Because of that and because his race was so big, have you done anything differently or altered his training at all just to not squeeze the lemon too much, so to speak?
Not really. He's a good workhorse. He great work last week, another good one this week. I think physically he looks great. His weight's good. His color's good. So I think we're in a great spot with him. I get it. People think he may bounce, and he may not. I don't know. But what I do know is he's doing well, and he's set up for a big effort. Now, obviously, it's going to deeper water next Saturday as opposed to what we ran against in the Bluegrass. But, I think he's on top of his game.
And then the last one for the Derby trio, Full Effort. What'd you see from Full Effort today?
More than expected. He's on it. He was 59. We were looking for somewhere in the minute range, but it was the right way. He was out 11-3, very similar work to last week, only by himself, and that, we weren't looking to do as much as last week, but we did, and but it was the right way. So it was a positive effort, a positive breeze, and it looks like he's cooling out well back here at the barn, and yeah, a good spot. I mean, you know, we did a little bit of the unknown with the dirt, but here we are.
And speaking of the unknown on the dirt, for you, bigger concern if you had to pick one, the dirt / kickback or 1.25 miles for full effort?
I think he'll handle the mile. I think he'll handle the 1.25 miles just based off what we saw in the Ruby going 1 1/8. I think it's about getting a trip. You know, I'm hoping, you know, he'll handle it all and gets a good trip. Whoever wins is going to get a good trip. You rarely win the Derby with a bad trip. So, you know, we're hoping, you know, we have them fit, ready, happy, and they get the trip. And if they do, I think we got 3 real shots.
Brad, we always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Joaquin.
Thank you.
He's got the same frames on his glasses that I do. I'll wear them tomorrow, so you know. How about getting involved at YouTube and on the social medias? I think Commandment is this year's sovereignty, and Renegade is journalism. What do you think of that, Simon?
All right, 1-2 then. He thinks it's going to be a Commandment Renegade Derby.
I like that. I think Commandment is going to be underrated. I really do. Dan and Bourbon is an overlay, so Happy will be the underlay. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think you have to respect, like I said, you don't know who he's been beating. He's 3 for 3. He's undefeated. Good dirt pedigree. And, you know, what Japanese runners are doing around the world, he has to be respected, yeah.
And you said it yesterday, Simon. I think it's just a matter of time until they pull out the Derby.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, any European horse, any Japanese horse coming from, you know, Dubai, automatic toss.
Right.
That's not the case anymore.
No, it's not. And there's a case to be made that there's no better racehorses in the world than in Japan right now on dirt and on turf. I like Renegade and Commandment, too, and Further Ado. I think those are your top 3 wagering selections right there that we just outfit. By the way, speaking of outfitting, do you have your Derby outfit yet?
I do.
Do you know what you do? Did you buy? You have to have yours. You're
3
here.
months ago.
3 months ago? I just got mine the other day.
Okay.
Just check it out. I headed to a very special place in Lexington, Kentucky on my way to Louisville.
Got to get my Derby drip before we go to Churchill Downs. So we came here. Logan's of Lexington, the only place to get your drip. This place is legitimate. Check it out. There's stuff everywhere.
Be prepared to look sharp. This is a really nice one here. It's got a little pop.
What else we got?
How's that feel to you?
I like that.
Yeah.
34 usually fits.
Okay.
Only a 36.
Perfect.
Yeah, they were too small. Laugh.
Which socks bring out my eyes better, the blue or the pink?
Let's get that jacket, this jacket. We're going to do a little fashion show for you.
Perfect. Yes.
Oh, now we're winning, buddy.
I think we got a winner. I think we got my Derby drip here.
All right, we found the outfit. We got my Derby drip. Now what do we do?
We got to make it fit properly. How do you feel?
Derby drip, right here.
Thank you so much.
We got it. My Derby drip.
See you in the winner's circle.
Do you approve?
Yeah, good choice.
Okay.
You made the right choice with the jacket.
I think it looks sharp.
Yeah, no, very sharp. Thanks to Daryl out there at Logan's of Lexington. That guy is a magician. I love anybody who does their job well. I don't care what the job is, but when people love what they do and they do it well and they're proud of it, he is an absolute artist.
Where'd you get yours, Simon?
I got mine at Suit Supply if we're dropping names.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if they want to. Yeah.
I got mine at Carter's.
Yeah. Joe Talamo's Wardrobe, brought to you by Cat and Jack.
Yeah, my 13-year-old son's just grown out of his suit. You can have it for next year if you want.
It might be a little too big.
Get him the one you bought him for 4th grade.
Yeah.
At any rate, my producer told me, are we going to Caton? Is that what you said? Are we going to Caton? I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I was making fun of Joe. We're going to go to Joaquin. Joaquin, it's time for you. Sorry about that. I had to get my outfit done.
Hey, it's the most important thing when you're going into the Kentucky Derby for us, right? Want to back things up just to yesterday, Mike. On Friday, we saw 3 Kentucky Derby workers put in their final drills. One of them was Emerging Market for trainer Chad Brown. Lightly raced, undefeated. He's a perfect 2 for 2. He won the Louisiana Derby. Yesterday, we saw him work 4 furlongs in company with the maiden Hedgebrook. They went 47-3 with Flavian Pratt aboard. Just went back over to Chad Brown's barn right now. Just had a quick check-in with him. He said all is good this morning for Emerging Market. He said he came out of it great. He cooled out great. He just had a walk day today, and Emerging Market is expected to be back on the track tomorrow, Mike, on Sunday for the son of Candy Ride, the most lightly raced horse in the Derby field this year. Only making start number 3, but so far so good. He cooled out great for Emerging Market from his 4 furlong drill yesterday.
It's that time of year where we have to tell everyone, hey, that horse looks great. But when it comes to Emerging Market, I mean, he really does turn heads.
I feel like this year, that's what made it so tough. Like last year, you were strictly on sovereignty. I was on journalism. They ran 1-2. They stood out. I mean, I feel like there's been, what, 4, 5, or 6 that have really stood out that it's so hard to differentiate them.
Yeah, it was so easy last year. I mean, they were head and shoulders above the rest going in, and we were pretty vocal about it. But this year, yeah, there's at least 6 horses here you can make a strong case for.
They're making an announcement out there on the racetrack. It's a little distracting. Let's go to Andy Biancone.
Mike, thank you so much. We saw Chip Honcho put in a nice 5/8 drill this morning, and trainer Steve Asmussen announced earlier in the week that you would make a decision whether Chip Honcho would run in the Derby or whether you would divert and run in the Preakness Stakes based on how this work went. But I understand you spoke to the owning connections, Lee Ackerley, James Sherwood. What is the decision?
We're going to wait for the Preakness with him. You know, he's a big, strong, developing horse. Think we have a lot of year ahead of us, and you know, no good excuse for his disappointing effort in the Louisiana Derby. And I think past skipping the Derby now, don't want 2 negative races in a row, and get him to 100% for the Preakness and get back in the mix.
Overall, what were your impressions from the work this morning?
He goes well over the racetrack and stuff. He needs to settle just a little bit more, be a little more consistent, but I think we're headed in that direction.
Well, breaking news here at the Steve Asmussen barn. So Chip Honcho will skip the Derby, and we will see him in the Preakness Stakes. But Steve, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Breaking news. Wow. And I think that's the right choice.
So what does that do? Chip Honcho is out. That means litmus test gets
in, and that changes the pace scenario.
Yeah, they worked him out the gate, so I can't imagine them not trying to send him out of there if they didn't have that gate work. So I think that's going to help the closers get a little bit more speed in there.
Chip Honcho out, pointed for the Preakness as broken by Andy Biancone, straight from the mouth of Steve Asmussen. You want to continue watching, please join us on YouTube. It'll all start from the beginning. For everyone who made the show possible, I'm Mike Joyce. Thanks for joining us, Breakfast at the Derby. We'll see you next time. Still have a little bit more to bring you right now as we check in once again with Andy Biancone.
Well, Intrepido trained in good order this morning under exercise rider Alex Galindo, who is currently giving him a bath. But keep in mind, this horse is already a Grade 1 winner. He won the Grade 1 American Pharoah Stakes at Santa Anita, most recently finished 4th in the Santa Anita Derby. But he certainly is a good-looking horse. And as you can see, Alex just giving him a bath, keeping him happy and comfortable. He just had an easy day of training today. Oh, yes, get those eyes. And get that cute pink nose as well. But Intrepido certainly handling his surroundings well here at Churchill Downs, and we look forward to seeing him train the rest of the week. But for now, just enjoy that adorable snoot.
And for now, Andy, enjoy the rest of your birthday, as today she turns 29 years young.
Wow.
I miss those days.
Your 20s?
Good old days.
I can't even remember them. I'm flirting with 50 here. At any rate, I think that does it. I think we're done with the show today.
Yes.
Well,
I'll be back for racing.
What we're gonna take a look at Further Ado one more time. That's how we started the show. That's how we're going to finish the show. Brad's comments about this horse, saying, "Hey, maybe this horse bounces, maybe he doesn't. I can just tell you that he's doing well." This would suggest he's doing well.
Absolutely, and John Velasquez was very high in his in-house interview post-workout here about this, the way this horse worked, and as we said at the top of the show, he's more nervous about this work than any other that he'd been on in quite some time. But I mean, I just think he's that type of horse. He's an aggressive workhorse, so he's going to look flashy. He's going to do everything right.
I mean, look at his body language. The ears, Mike. Look at him.
Yeah, the ears. It's all about the ears.
He is just absolutely on cruise control, going a minute flat. And Brad Cox said to Joaquin earlier, and I totally agree. I think earlier the track was a little bit deeper than the 7:15 break because they did have a little bit more moisture. You can look at its white bandages, how far up that dirt's going. That's showing how much deeper it is. And, I mean, he is just absolutely cruising. And this is by himself, too, with no company.
There you see it. As Further Ado, he looks excellent. And we'll see where he is in the wagering. Second choice, third choice? Where do you think he lands? It'll be Renegade favorite. I think
this horse will be second choice.
Second choice? I think so, too. I think the margin of victory.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's one of those years, though, where the Derby favorite, I don't think you're going to have to take too short of a price.
4-1.
Yeah, as we take a look Further Ado. And then a little bit after this, Commandment got out on the racetrack and turned in his work. So it was a minute flat for Further Ado. And then Commandment would hit the track and going 101 and 2. But like we said, he's a different type of horse.
Yeah, he's been winning his races by a neck. The other horse been winning races by 11 lengths, and you know that's how it plays out on the racetrack. This is why, I mean, if you put Further Ado where Commandment is in company this morning, way too fast. But this horse clearly needs the company.
And I think of all three Brad Cox horses, he's the least flashiest and kind of workmanlike, if you will. You know, even time-wise, 101 and 2 is the slowest of all three, but that's typical of him.
Commandment. He is the fighter, though. I mean, if it's a dogfight, he's most likely to come out on top. And then there was Full Effort, the winner of the Jeff Ruby Stakes. It sounded like Brad Cox was quietly confident about this horse,
yes,
too.
He was.
This is his work earlier today. We saw it live, 59 flat. They were out there to get a minute and change, but he quite easily got the 59 seconds here, and it doesn't look like he's trying very hard at all.
I'm shocked he went 59 flat. It just doesn't. It
doesn't look like it.
No, not at all. And even when we turned around and watched his gallop out, I mean, he wasn't being axed at all. Just absolutely floating. And he's just impressed me for a horse that's never started on the dirt, only synthetic and turf. I mean, you wouldn't know it.
And he looks like a dirt horse. I mean, he's got a big hind end, powerful hind quarters, which kind of goes hand in hand with the dirt physique. And he's got the dirt pedigree top and bottom.
So Full Effort. The three Brad Cox horses today putting in their final works. Let's check in with Joaquin Jaime as he's standing by with Bob Baffert.
Here with the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert walking over to his barn right now at Churchill Downs to deliver some good news to you, Bob. The team for Steve Asmussen and Chip Honcho and Andy Biancone just broke the news right now that they're not going to run in the Kentucky Derby. They will pass. They'll run in the middle jewel of the Triple Crown. So that puts Litmus Test, who was on the outside looking into the starting gate. What do you think about that now for Litmus Test? Great news, huh?
Well, I think after the way he worked here the other day, he really gets over this track really well. I was really disappointed in his last race. Did some adjustments, and he came back and had put in a brilliant work here the other morning. And so blinkers back on, and it's you know, it's nice for the group to have a horse in the Derby. But the way he worked the other day, if you would ask me a few days ago, I wasn't sure. But after the way he likes he likes the surface, so that's very important. Some horses don't get along, go over it as well as others, but. He worked well, so I guess that's good news.
He is much more experienced than your other Derby horse in here. Patente only has 3 lifetime runs for Patente so far. How have you seen this 3-year-old progress so far through his 3-year-old season?
Well, we were really high on him, and when I took him to Oaklawn the first time, he made the lead. It was on the inside. Didn't want to be in the lead. Pratt said, you know, he needs a target. Took the blinkers off. Was off the pace. and it looked like he just wasn't never engaged. It wasn't the rider's fault, sort of went into the train light and came back, and I was actually, thinking, well, we'll probably run him into Preakness or whatever, but I decided to put a nice stiff work into him here just in case, because it looked like for a minute it didn't look like he was going to get in at all. And he worked really, really well. So Martin Garcia worked him for me. He was really happy with it, and so he'll be riding the horse. So Martin, he rides with me for once a year to the Derby. I don't know why.
But this is a combination that goes back many years, right?
No, I love Martin. Martin's a good rider, and he knows my horses, and so I don't have a problem there. But the horse is going to have to really, you can just draw a line through the last race, and the race before was sort of not his kind of race, but it's sort of a wide open race. I was, it's nice to being able to get in there. I like to have had Cherokee Nation in there, That was the one that sort of, we were disappointed in not getting him in there the way he ran in his maiden race. But we're in there, so we'll just, we just freed up a lot of tickets.
Yeah, we did. Lastly here, Potente, what do you have sort of penciled in for his final drill? When can we see him out there?
Yeah, Potente, he's going to breeze tomorrow.
Okay.
He'll be breezing tomorrow during the break. And so, no, he looks good. He's been going over the track really well. He's another horse that, he found himself in the lead, and he really doesn't want to run that way either. But that's, these preps are for you. You try to figure them out, and he's a good gate horse, and so, but I think the mile and a quarter, I don't think he's going to have a problem with it. I think last time he was just out of his element, and so we'll see how he does, but he looks great.
Appreciate the time, Bob. Hopefully you draw well later on this afternoon.
I know, I hate going to the draw because you just, you're just holding your gut the whole time, I was hoping I'd like to have scratched in the 20 hole with Litmus Test, but I wouldn't mind the 20 with him, but we'll just see what happens.
Appreciate it, Bob. Enjoy the rest of the morning.
Thank you.
By the way, just so you clarify, that's not a Hugo Boss hat. That's him letting everyone know who is boss.
There you go.
Yeah, boss. And he's been the boss of the Derby. 6 Derby wins under his belt. He's got 2 now with Litmus Test and Potente. We'll see what happens this year for Bob Baffert.
Yeah, I think, look, Litmus Test, I think it's a real long shot. Potente, there's distance limitations there. I think these are some of his longer shots that he's had in the last several years.
Yeah, for sure. And to his point, that draw, I could see why there's so much anxiety, especially with looking at Lucky when he drew the 1 hole that year. So draw is everything in the Kentucky Derby.
It really does make a difference. Check in once again with Caden Bradar.
All right, with each defection, John Ennis moves a little closer to making it into the body of the race with Great White. Talk a little about this waiting game. And you mentioned to me you'd much prefer to be in the body rather than on the also eligibles. Outside of the obvious, why would that be?
Well, look, he's a big horse, and I was 2 years ago, I was on the outside and grateful to get in 2 years ago. But I said if I ever come to Derby again, I'd love to be in the body and have a chance of getting a good post position. I think it's hard from the 20 hole. But look, if I get to 20 hole, I'll be very grateful.
John, after a big race at Turfway, you opted for the Bluegrass for the final start prior to the Derby. He showed speed and then not as much at the end. So what gives you the courage to go forward to the Derby and to stick with it?
Well, he's such a green. He's still a baby, and he did not need to be on the lead. And we didn't think he'd be on the lead that day. There was so much speed in the Bluegrass. So I think taking back and getting a lead in the Derby, he's a completely different horse. I'm much happier with him now going into the Derby or the Pate Mile, whatever the case may be, this time than I was going into Bluegrass. He was just flat the week of the Bluegrass. So now he's sharp and he looks really good.
Is he a different horse than the one you brought over 2 years ago?
He's comparable as regards cruising speed and speed like that, but this lad, I think we'll get to 2 turns, get the mile and a quarter, where the other lad, I had no chance of getting to 2 turns. But Derby dreaming everybody was at the time, and we took our shot. But I think this lad, as regards distance, shouldn't be an issue.
All right, well, the waiting game for now, just to see where it all shakes out, but we'll definitely see him in the entries.
Yes, you will. You'll cross-enter the Derby and the Pate Mile. Obviously, we get into the Derby, we'll go there, but he'll be cross-entered in both races.
All right. We look forward to watching him.
Thank you, Kate.
Look, the Pate Mile is not a bad consolation, but you want to get in the body of the Derby if you have a horse like that, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, but unfortunately, you're wishing for somebody else's demise.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's nobody's wanting anybody else to defect. And look, I mean, Chip Honcho's opting for the Preakness. It's not like he had to go to the sidelines for a while. But we shall see later today. They're going to be drawing the Derby and the Oaks in between races 3 and 4. Opening day of racing here at Churchill Downs. We'll have it all for you right here on FanDuel TV.
Yeah, I'll be back here in a couple hours to be joined by Anthony Pascal. Larry Colmus will be covering the races, and then we'll go live to the draw between races 3 and 4.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Actually, this is a half marathon as they are running the Derby half marathon today, going right through the infield. We've got a marathon run, 7 shows, 2 in the books of Breakfast at the Derby for Kate and Joaquin, Andy, Joe, and Simon. I'm Michael Joyce. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.